Unusual situation where you've got back-to-back six-pointers against the same team. It's going to be quite a challenge.
Oh, is this one a 6-pointer as well?
Aye.
Every time you play, that term's thrown out there. In all seriousness, it is, you're right, a bit unusual to play two league fixtures. We've seen it when it's a cup and potentially a league game and the fixtures fall that way, but for it to be two league fixtures is a bit unusual. Queen's Park have obviously had a game in between that, and I spoke about us having 10 days to work with the players, which I feel has been beneficial from what my eyes can tell me and from what the data throws back at us. But it's been an opportunity for us to work tactically, technically, physically is a big thing for us as well, to make sure that everyone's working towards putting themselves in a position to try and start a game of football, because you make new signings, you bring players in, guys come back from injury, and I think that we all just click their fingers and they're ready to start games of football. There is a process now within football to try and get everybody conditioned to start. We had a bounce game on Tuesday here, which was really beneficial for us, not just for our senior guys, but there was a number of young players involved in that game as well. I thought the game was played to a real good standard. It was played with a real good pace and a real good intensity. So we can organise these games and think that it's going to help players, but only if it's played in the fashion that it was. And I also need to note as well that with the mixture of players, it was an eclectic mix of players, guys coming out of school, young players coming out of school to take part in the game, senior pros that have played hundreds of games, played at the top of their trade. But the mix and the guidance and the direction from the senior guys was excellent throughout the game, so we took plenty from it, and we feel that it puts us at this minute in time into a decent position to go and play in a game of football against Queen's Park. However, that is the preparation. I've said to you every single week, and I'm not changing my messaging. It's about how we approach the game at 3 o'clock on Saturday.
You anticipated my next question. There was going to be very different run into this game for the two teams. You've had the opportunity, as you said, to prepare and get time without a game. On the other hand, they've had quite a traumatic defeat in the Scottish Cup.
Yeah, I anticipate that question as well. You know, they're playing against the top side. They're playing against a team that's obviously in the mix and challenging for the Premier League title. And what we need to remember, I get asked these questions a lot. Does that mean that they're now despondent and they feel down about themselves because of the result against Rangers? Don't think anybody would have given them a hope, with all due respect, against Rangers going to Ibrox. I think because of what had happened the year before and the significance of that. And that's no disrespect at all to Queen's Park. I think, as I said it before the first game, that I feel that Sean's done a really good job there with the group that he's got. I think they've shown some decent form of late, some good performances of late. But you could argue it goes the other way. Is that the catalyst to react in a certain fashion? Is that a motivator because you don't want that feeling again? So we can look at it whatever way. I just need to keep coming back to what I've said from day one, just over a month ago since I came into the football club. All we can control is what we do ourselves, and we'll continue to focus on that. Show respect to the opposition, as I always do, and I always want the players and the staff to do so. But we have to concentrate on what we can control, and that's our performance, that's our level, that's our standards.
Could be said that this is part two of a golden opportunity to get away from the bottom. You've got the first 3 points in the bag. Doing it a second time around would make a big difference, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but again, I could probably open that up and say that we're currently the form team, I think, in the division. I think that if you look at the form table, I don't know, over 5 or 6 games, I think that we've amassed the most amount of points, which is something we were trying to create a reaction. We were trying to build a positive reaction where we could win games and we could amass points. But that doesn't stand for anything unless we continue to approach games properly. We've had a sting in the tail against Greenock Morton when we felt we came off a level in our standards. So we don't need to look too far to understand that if we come off it in any way, shape or form, that this league's really, really difficult, that the gulf and the margins between the teams isn't enormous. So as much as we sit here and we say, yeah, we're top of that shorter term form table, that's great, that's good, that breeds a bit of confidence, but for me it has to motivate us all to ensure that we can try and remain in that position. It doesn't change the overall league table, which is the big picture, but if we can get the bit right short term, it's certainly going to help that overall standing.
Should I avoid the temptation then of repeating the question which you rejected last time, but being the foreign team, has the corner been turned?
No, I'll never say the corner's been turned, because, as I say, it's about that overall picture, and the overall picture, as just said there, it still isn't where we want it to be, far from it. But again, you keep talking about these short-term goals, these short-term achievements. But again, I do believe I'm consistent in what I said. It was never for me coming in here and shouting my mouth off and telling people what we were going to do and where we were going to finish. It becomes small steps, it becomes marginal gains. I think we've achieved a few of them, but I can assure you that I've got a burning desire, and from what I've seen over the last 10 days, there's a group of players with a burning desire to ensure that they can try and maximise every opportunity that comes our way, every game that comes our way, and to try and maintain a standard and try and make the picture look better than what it was, because that's the task. Every game we talk about being 6 pointers, every game is a cup final. That old cliche that you guys have heard a million times, but the importance of the significance of every game as they start to dwindle becomes greater.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
You were hoping to get some longer term injuries back for the bounce game. Did they play? How did they get on?
One of our longer term injuries, Josh Reid, managed to get 45 minutes, which was great for Josh. He's had a tough time at somebody that I know really well, working with him and bringing him through in his first spell here at the football club. So delighted to see Josh back in. The game unfortunately came a little bit early for Noah Chilvers and Akil Wright, again for transparency, and so that our supporters understand that as well. It's not that these guys haven't been working, it was just a bit of a precarious situation that I was maybe trying to steal a few days and get them back as early as I possibly could, but it's not that there's a problem with them, it's just the fact that the game just came a shade early. So we are currently looking for another one to try and ensure that we can get these guys on the pitch and start building them up to what they're both desperate to do. Just a conversation with Akil on the way over here this morning. He's desperate to get back playing, he's desperate to get back and contribute. Noah's the exact same, Josh is the same, and they've actually been brilliant, the three of them, pushing each other on through a difficult spell in their career. But I'm certain that they will emerge, and I'm certain that everyone will see the qualities of those three players.
It's been a long time since Josh played competitive football. Is it still going to take a wee bit to get him up to being ready for a match day?
Yeah. I'm not. Listen, I think what Josh starts to do is, by how he's trained and how he performed in 45 minutes, is we can see that he's a good footballer that understands the game, that's amassed some really good experience along the way. He's had a trip down south in between, playing here at Ross County. It's going to take a little bit more time to start to come into consideration for starting games and for trying to play 90 minutes, because I say this all the time as well. I know the game's changed with so many substitutions available to you, but I still think that players have to play with the mindset of trying to complete 90 minutes. That was how I was brought up as a kid, and it's still something that I look at as well. It's great to say that you can get a good 60 minutes or you can get a good 70 minutes, but ideally I still think that burning desire to play 90 minutes has to be a thing, being conditioned to be able to do it. So again, that's a big message from myself and the staff to the players. You have to work exceptionally hard to get to that point, and you have to build up a robustness to be able to get through the rigours and the toils of playing in the Championship and knocking out 90 minutes every week.
She got off to a flyer with a goal. How well is he settling in, and how does he change your kind of options in terms of type of player and what you can do with the team?
No, listen, we've believed in Uche as someone that we were interested in trying to bring to the football club from an early stage in the window. We know that these things don't always develop and evolve exactly how you want them to, but in terms of what he brings to the team, I think everybody can see he becomes that, in my terminology, is that platform. We feel that we've probably got someone in Jordan White that's a very good platform for a team to be able to get up the pitch and to start to make midfield runs, start to get crosses in from wide areas, the simple bits in the game which tend to be the effective bits. But for Uche, it's just building up that match sharpness, because he's another one that's had a long time without starting and playing games of football, and that's been a frustration for him. But that's not to discredit his previous club in St Johnstone. It's just that their tails have been up. They've found a formula that's been working for them. So we see it as our game to get a really good type, a really good player into the building. But I do believe he's one that starts to help a lot of players in that sort of middle to forward area. he becomes a good foil. But what we also want from him is the instinct he shows for his winning goal against Queen's Park. I think he showed that, and again we've been working hard. He's been working really hard over the last week period. He got some minutes in the bounce game, which I think he'll come off the back of even better, starting to build that fitness. Whether that's from the start, whether that's from the bench, I think he's already showed you that he has the mindset to be able to come off the bench and help his team.
What about Jayden and Caden who've come in? How are they progressing?
Yeah, really good. I think you guys probably seen the impact that Jayden managed to have in the game against Queen's Park. So again, another really good live option for us, somebody that we're excited about, somebody that we think brings some real quality and some really good imagination at the top end of the pitch. I thought he had a great impact coming on against Queen's Park. So he's had some training sessions. Caden equally has shown us plenty since he came in. He got some minutes in the bounce game. So yeah, some of these guys are at different levels, and sometimes the decision is what's happening in the game. Sometimes the decision is what area do you need to freshen up in the game. So not really a reflection on sometimes where they actually are at this minute in time, but more in the sense of what's happening in the game. And as I say, Jayden got that first opportunity to go on the pitch. But we've seen from Caden, I'm going to trip myself up with Jayden and Caden here, but we can see that he's a burning desire to go and try and have an impact on our team as well.
And I was just going to say 3 clean sheets out of 4 as well is a great foundation, isn't it?
Yeah, that's genuinely what we were striving for. I think it's actually 4 and 5 if I'm right in saying that. You know, with John and interim charge and Scott Thompson and Gordon Duff, there was that goalless draw against St Johnstone. So I felt there was a decent platform there, and it's been something that we really have focused on. I did say, Ian, I think my first interview, that we felt that was something that we had to address and something that we had to try and we had to bring into our game, because I think Queen's Park game being really symptomatic, and that Airdrie game being really symptomatic, and that us being sound and assured when we don't have the ball will always give us that chance with the quality we believe we've got in our team to be able to capitalise on an opportunity. And both of those games are 1-0s. I think it always shows you that it's been a hard fought contest, it's been a difficult game, but fortunately we've had the foundation to get the points.